13 or T-rated TV show or something. Pressing, but this is very kind of pixely looking space for the Unbound. The thing I like about the name the Unbound is in this fantasy world I created back in when I was writing my first novel started in 8th grade actually. There was one area, a country called Tornheim, and there was like 3 major sections, and there was one that really was nothing interesting. It was just called the Unbound. I see cat games. Alright, let's look at settings. Okay, alright. It was a cold night. The South Star Princess was weak. The cat was worried. There might be no food in its bowl. Meow, Princess. Mew looks sick. Are Mew okay? The cat meowed. The princess looked up to the night sky and thought, I'm tripping while the cat's talking to me. It's time to say goodbye, to leave the world behind. I have something for you, my dearest friend. A parting gift. I'll show you my last miracle. Something shone brightly in the palm of her hand. It was the miracle. Is she on fire or something? The cat was stunned in awe, but it cried too. Oh, meow, pretty princess, please don't. I can't let you go, the cat meowed. Wow, if I wanted to play something dark, I could have played Doki 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 Literature Club or something. Which actually starts out kind of peppy, until it isn't. The princess just smiled and stared into the cat's teary eyes, which had probably eye boogers. Everyone wanted my miracles, but you're the only one who stayed by my side. Thank you for being my friend. Snap. I can't. Me neither. It was a warm, bright night. The glowing South Star Princess turned into stardust. Ah, we all come from stardust, and we scattered to the skies above. But her light stayed within a pretty yellow flower. Left behind and alone, the cat hugged the flower to itself. Oh, princess, the world doesn't deserve you. I know. So, what do you think, Mr. Co-writer? It's great, your story was so touching, I can't wait to listen to the rest of it. The world, the adventure, the characters, I love them all. But the princess, I love her the most. Oh, phew, I'm glad you liked it. I was kind of worried and not really confident about it at all. Love the kind of big pixely dithering in the sky and stuff. At first, I was going to make the princess turn into a comet when she passed away. Then she would have destroyed the planet and devoured all the creatures that stole her miracles. But that would be a rude way to end the story, so I decided to scrap that. Yeah, I think that's too violent. Doesn't fit in at all. We are made from star stuff. By the way, where did you get the idea for the comet? Well, it was last night. I was really worried and upset. Cast my eyes to the sky for inspiration, and a comet flashes suddenly across the horizon, burning bright through the pitch dark night. That sounds more like a shooting star. Aw, geez, I wish I was awake last night. But still, I can't believe it ends like this. I do remember the Hale Bopp comet, and it was not blazing across the sky. I mean, it was kind of like just up there for a couple of days. And I imagine it's something similar to other notable comets, like Halley's Comet, which will appear again in probably about 30 or 40 some more years. What a sad fate for the South Star Princess. Do you want to hear the final chapter? Final chapter? There's more of it. It's called Cat's Revenge. Yes, it'll be more like an epilogue, but we can think of it as the final chapter. I want to tell a story about the cat's final adventure. Oh yeah. Cat adventure, guys! The cat will, the yellow flower there to, this kind of reminds me of Bride of Frankenstein. That starts off with the first scene where you have Mary Shelley, and she's talking with her husband and a friend, Lord Byron, about, well, the story of Frankenstein's not over yet. You know, there's more to the story.
Talking. You reading?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you turn it down? AC said it was pretty loud.
Yeah, I turned on the music.
Okay.
Yeah, so I turned on the music. What's wrong? All of a sudden I can't think of anything. Mine's gone blank. Brain fog.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully that's better, AC. If not, let us know. But the music has turned down. It was on the tip of my tongue.
And we always have to
It was on
check
the
the
tip of my
sound.
joystick. Hey, why don't we go out and get some fresh air?
Tell me about your joystick.
The tip of my joystick. It's like instead of the tip of your tongue, like if you're trying to remember the name of a game.
Yeah.
It may help clear your mind. Okay. I love the art here.
The art is neat.
It kind of reminds me of a Cosmic Void game.
It does, definitely.
Kind of more of a limited palette in ways, sort of pixely. Okay, can I jump?
You said they've been pretty busy with just doing Switch games, doing the Switch games and stuff. So.
Need to get back to a little more of my Playdate games that I have.
Welcome back, Medicine Hat. We beat the skull of the toll tax.
It sucked.
So pretty loud.
Okay. Let's go. Let me see settings.
Oh yeah, you got it way up there.
No, that was the sound of the music.
That's way up there.
Sorry to turn that.
Yeah, but it's the ambient sounds that are making all the noise.
Okay. Hopefully that's a little better. Yep. Well, we completed it. I was going through my big book of adventure games. Actually, it's called the book about classic adventure games. It doesn't even mention that game, so I don't feel so bad that I'd never heard of it.
But also, it is a game from another country. And there are a lot out there that we have not played or heard of.
Yeah, so that might have been part of it, that it just may have, definitely flown way under the radar. Game from some other smaller developer.
Especially the ending. It just wasn't it was underwhelming.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. You got the sense, okay, I'm supposed to maybe do something here, but I don't know what yet. And there were a few things that were good, but I felt there just was... There was a lot of potential to it. Things that could have greatly moved it from a very kind of meh game to at least a decent game. And it would have been things that just give more context, give more hints about things, maybe a little more direction of what you're supposed to be doing or why you're supposed to be doing something.
If you click on something, it should have a reaction of some kind of...
Yeah, if there's supposed to be something or a little more context, like we were trying to look in a drawer that we'd already taken something from, he just goes, great! That doesn't help. Versus, if it at least mentioned like, well, it's empty now, or, I already took the book. Let's go outside and get some fresh air.
That would, of course, have required more programming
and voices and stuff.
Voice acting and stuff, and everything costs, and who knows. And
yeah.
But now here we are.
Can you actually grab that book? Yeah, I can show that real quick. Yeah, hopefully me being a little closer.
There we go. Now here we are.
Yeah. And this did show, I read up about Toonstruck in this book as well, and it did reiterate a lot of things we had seen when we completed that game, talking about that it's supposed to cost $8 million, that, the final third of the game got cut and, was intended so there was supposed to be kind of like 3 acts to the game. It's like the first part we're supposed to get the 12 items for the cutifier, then probably like the second act was likely the part where you're in the castle, in Nefarious' castle, and then the third part would have been whatever they probably wanted to do. But I felt with Toonstruck, even if they had cut out a good sized chunk of what they intended, it still felt fairly complete. I still felt, you got through it, but of course it kind of left a cliffhanger, like, hey, we could do another game. But it also sounded like the marketing maybe didn't know quite how to promote it or to advertise it, or the money to do so was gone because they'd spent $8 million on that, which in 1996 or so would have been a huge amount of money for a computer game, because Phantasmagoria came out like 1 year earlier, and I think that was around $1 million, maybe a little more, but I think it was around $1 million. And that was also a game, lots of full motion video with that one too. So
now we are playing A Space for the Unbound, which is a Serenity Forge.
Published game.
A published game. Serenity Forge is located in a couple towns over from us, and
fortunately, a games publisher, which seems to be still doing okay right now, which is good to see, because the industry has definitely had some rough times in the last couple of years. A lot of companies closing and projects, and Microsoft definitely not. They're probably the most egregious of these, that they cut nearly 2,000 jobs after the acquisition of Activision, and then they cut like another 9,000 jobs just about a month ago or something.
Crazy amount.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a lot of jobs cut. That might have been across the entire company, but I think a lot of it was focused on the game section. So,
which is so much like Microsoft, to buy a medium and then F it totally up.
Yeah.
And not have, they don't care about anything except the Xbox online system. That's all they want.
There's a Family Guy clip I've seen where Peter finds his NES and he sits down with Chris like, I've been waiting for this day for 13 years to play the greatest game of all time with you, Donkey Kong. And Chris is just complaining, what universe is this? You're in a warehouse with a giant monkey that kidnapped your girlfriend, Where's the microtransactions? Where's the microphone so you can, swear at each other? He's like, there's none of this. This game sucks.
So anyway, the owner from Serenity Forge is a super nice guy. His name is Z. And we've seen him now twice, and he's even communicated with Chad via email at least one time that I'm aware of.
A few times.
I'm not quite sure if Chad came to him with a prototype of an actual
It was
play
last
date.
year. Yeah, it was last year when I saw the Serenity Forge booth, and I talked to him like, like, don't you guys make a Playdate game? He's like, yeah, we did Flipper Lifter, which was in season 1 of games. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah. And they had a lot of other games. And Z mentions, like, yeah, you're probably about the only third person I've ever met that recognized us from that.
They didn't. He said the first thing he said when we talked to him this time, he said, we haven't been making any. So my thought is, if Chad came to him with a prototype of a game, I'm not very interested in it.
If there was something that they're wanting to do or pursue that, Playdate definitely is not a big money-making machine.
No.
No one's getting rich from making games on it. It's interesting. There definitely have been developers who have been very open about how much money they've made, and I did see one person was showing, like, here's the money I've made, and they said, like, okay, at however many dollars they sold their game for, and they sold X number of copies, and then they showed, like, all the breakdowns of things, like, okay, Panic, who makes the Playdate, and if it's sold through Catalog, which is the Playdate online store, so Panic, they get a certain cut. Then there's, like, sales tax, that takes a cut. And then there's, I think, credit card processing fees, that takes a cut. So, in the end, I think there's one person showed, like, well, okay, I sold about $8,000 worth of my game on the Playdate. After all those other things get taken out, end up with closer to about 5,000. So I was like, okay, I mean, if I did that and made, it's like, I call that pizza and Pez money. So because I don't drink beer, but so it's like some nice extra pocket money. You know, I certainly would not say no to an extra $5,000 by any means. So it's like, that's not too shabby. But are you going to be able to live off of that?
No.
No. And especially if it's a game that maybe took you a lot of time to develop.
It might pay some electrical bills for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think pretty much anybody's talked about it, and probably even with a lot of indie games out there, when they take a look at how much time they spent on something, versus, you know, and any other fees they spent if they contracted work or bought assets, music, whatever.
And that's if somebody buys the game.
That could be, you know, other money that could have gone out from how much they brought in initially. But even at 8,000, if you compare that up against Steam, that's actually doing pretty darn well, because I've seen a lot of numbers talking about the number of people who even hit $1,000 of sales on Steam is depressingly low. Part of it is because there's so many games out on Steam. You know, it's great that there's this way to be able to get games out for people and for them to be able to easily find it and download and install games. But you do also have to keep in mind, well, pretty much everybody else has options to that as well. So that means that there are, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of games out there.
Can you be that?
And I've heard even things that there could be anywhere from like 50 to 80 new games on Steam every single day.
Right.
So it's not just on top of all those other games out there.
And it's more also whether or not your game is able to be promoted.
Are you able to get that? I mean, I've read...
Do you have the audience that's going to want to play it? Would they take the time, you know, to play your game and give it a try?
Yeah, and I think I've read some posts about some people that, you know, maybe they're young or they're trying to just make their first game. They're about ready to release it, and they're starting to think like, oh, now maybe I should start doing some promotion and marketing, and like,
you should have been already doing
and
that.
it's like, yeah, you should have been doing that for a long time. Is kind of the downside to it.
I mean, you got to get the game out though.
Yeah.
There's a lot who start and they get a demo out and then they don't do anything with it.
And I think there are some games, especially a number of games I've seen in the adventure game community. There might have been a demo out but it might have been years between when that demo came out, which at least it gives you a taste, lets you know something's out, versus when the final version came out, like Rosewater. A demo came out a couple of years ago, I believe.
Right.
The full game just came out this year. So that's another game that...
But of course, to be honest, Francisco's only working with himself.
It's primarily himself.
Right?
So, yeah, that is one of those cases of primarily a indie developer who takes on the bulk of the work. And so it's like, yeah, there's a reason it took so long, and I read comments he say like, yeah, I'm not doing another game that big again. But it is, I mean, it's he's been doing games for quite a few years, and you know, somebody who does the programming, who does the art, works on, you know, art, you know, music or whatever, and I think he gets like some assistance with certain things, and I've seen that with some developers, and same especially with a play date that sometimes you get people teaming up, and generally they are small teams, but that's kind of the great thing about these indie communities. It kind of harkens back to you know, times 40 years ago or something, or 30 or 40 years ago, where it could be very small teams, whether it's one person or maybe 4 people or something like that, making some interesting games. So,
and there's tons. I was talking to a friend recently about similar things in the music industry. On one hand, anyone can record and release studio quality music on a shoestring budget, but on the other hand, it's harder than ever to get noticed.
yeah. So it's
Unless
very
you
similar.
have like a fan base, or you released your demo and it was an instant boom, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the flip side of saying where the music industry was, say, 30 years ago, where I looked at it and saying, if you can get on MTV, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to sell a lot of copies. Even if it's complete crap, it's getting those eyeballs out there, because you got past, you know, effectively the gatekeepers of, you got a record contract, you have that record company behind you, so they're going to be able to help fund the album, music videos. If you get on MTV, and if they start pushing it, then you get, you know, millions of eyeballs on it, and then you're going to sell some. I've even heard of bands that they had one hit song in the 90s or something, they're still around. And so it's like, you know, that might have been enough to have generated a career for them. Versus now, you know, it is that, you know, similar type thing, like, okay, yeah, you don't need to have a big expensive studio paying hundreds if not thousands of dollars a day to record and have all these other people, and you can put something together that's maybe actually not half bad and be able to release it and distribute it through, you know, iTunes, streaming services, whatever. You know, pay whatever fees you need to do that, and you can get your stuff out there. You can get on social medias and YouTube and whatever else, and do stuff and make content. Once again, though, it's so many others, of millions, if not billions, of people are doing the same thing. So it's trying to catch the attention of all those eyeballs again, and you know, there's a limited number of people and time.
Mike was telling me how to start a podcast, and the thought of starting a podcast is, first you really have to find the niche that's going to interest people, because it isn't enough just to rant and rave and stuff. You really have to have some kind of plan about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the figures are, but it's like the number of podcasts which start and get past like an X number of episodes or go longer than a year is relatively low.
Yeah.
And one podcast I enjoy is the Classic Gamers Guild podcast, and that has been around for a number of years, and it's primarily 2 people. There's Anna V and Paul Corman. Paul did the Phantom Fellows, and we played through that game. And so it's mostly the 2 of them, and then sometimes they have guests on it. I was a guest on it at one time, so that was a lot of fun when I was talking about some projects I'd worked on. And That's a podcast that has managed to go on for a number of years, and they mostly talk about adventure games and things along those lines. I think there was, I'm trying to think if it was a year or two ago, I think there was kind of a break in the schedule, and there wasn't a new episode for a number of months.
Life gets in the way.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely does. So.
But, I've left it kind of in the back of my mind because, like, if Mike ever gets a job and things settle down, then he asked me and Tooch if we would do a 3-gamer podcast. And I think that would be a great idea. I don't know who'd watch us. Beyond our community here, I don't know who else would watch us, but, it's an idea. Listen to us. It's an idea, and it's out there. Okay, so anyway, Serenity Forge, we met them. They had a bunch of games. We support them. They're local to our area. We've got this game, and it's called Space for the Unbound. We know nothing about it.
Yeah, we also got a Smile for Me.
These are all Switch games
says.
I did get.
Oh, you got a PlayStation
game.
Is it Coffee Talk?
Yeah, Coffee Talk. I got one PlayStation game. He didn't have it in a 5. He only had it in a 4. And
we also have a Cyanide and Happiness Freak Apocalypse. Episode Hall Pass to Hell.
The funny thing about Cyanide and Happiness is I have them on their comic strip, and I have them. They also did, I think they did the Cards for Humanity, or somebody is involved that is part of that. Anyway, so I might be wrong,
like that,
but I'm pretty sure that's
something
what
similar
it is.
To it. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was the Oatmeal, but I think the Oatmeal did Exploding Kittens.
They did Exploding Kittens, right? Exactly.
Lisa.
Then we got Lisa, which seemed to me like the Binding of Isaac. We'll see.
This one says, this one's like maybe a European base rating. It says 18 on it or something. Versus the other ones are more the ESRB. So we don't
know what's point and click, what's adventure.
Smile for Me looks kind of creepy, but it says like 10 plus. So
when we return back from vacation in 2 weeks, we're probably going to try out some more of Serenity Forge games, or we'll be playing season 2 of the PlayStation. Chad wants.
Playdate?
I'm sorry, Playdate, not PlayStation. Playdate. We could play PlayStation games. I got
King's
lots
Quest.
of them.
Collecting dust on it again.
Yeah, it is kind of collecting dust. It's a little bit neglected these days, and I want to pull it out and play a little bit.
It's probably connected to power at least.
All right, let's start playing.
I mean, yours was like so bad, like when we finally started up again, there was a Christmas movie in it, and it was like September or something.
It's so scary that I haven't been able to figure out what kind of story I want to tell you. Go ahead, let's go.
Yay, Playboy Station.
That's a different thing. We talked about Pornhub yesterday there, AC. I told you, there's the meter. There's the really low usage. This guy's not too bad. So, oh my God, that person's a freak.
Playdates. The curious little yellow gaming device with a crank.
All right, go on. Press.
Okay, it's so scary that
I already read it.
Figure out what kind of story I want to tell.
Yep, that's writer's block, all right.
No, it's you're sitting in front, you don't know what to type, so you can either pound out a bunch of crap and have to reread it tomorrow, or you just continue. Hey, I think I need to go
drive,
feed the dog. I'm gonna go clean the house.
Artists get writer's block too. It's the different kinds. Hey, maybe it's time to use the magic red book.
Isn't that something about like burning CDs, the red book? Or maybe it's my OpenGL book that was called the red book.
Maybe it should be burning the C++ book that we had in college. It's in my closet.
Yeah, I don't know why it's still there instead of on a bookshelf.
Yeah, it's sitting in my closet. The C++ Bible is what I called it. Man.
Mine is
hard as hell to read, but boy, was it necessary in order to pass programming. The magic red what?
Yeah, that would have been the days before Stack Overflow too.
Yeah.
So.
That was just before it.
A little before.
The Magic Red Book, because I learned about stack and stuff like that. So, have you forgotten about it? The book which contains the spell to dive into people's hearts and rid them of their inner turmoil?